Hello everyone, and I think we should take a look at TOME. What is TOME? TOME is a newly released game on Steam. It's a MOBA that I really wanted to tell you about because I really like this game. And it's new. Although it had a browser version before that you could only play in your browser, it now got a client version that you can start over Steam. And yeah, it's a MOBA. And as you can see, it has your usual MOBA type stuff like unlockable characters, things like a weekly rotation, as you can see. But it has its own unique twists that I would really like to talk about, and then I would also like to jump in the game to show you what the game is actually about. So, pretty easily said, Tome is a more or less stripped down version of bigger MOBAs. For example, there would be League of Legends, Dota 2. Tome is different. It follows the core concept of having to push down towers and destroy the enemy's main building. It's an altar in this case. And follow your minions while you do that. But it is, first of all, the game has two maps. It's a 3 versus 3 map and a 5 versus 5 maps. A 5 versus 5 map. The Colosseum is the most played one. It's a small map. Games really only last 10 to 15 minutes. It's pretty quick. You have two lanes. There's a monster in the middle, but I'm going to show you that because I'm going to play this map, but I'm not going to play Sanctuary. Sanctuary, though, is a larger map that has some sort of jungle. It has two lanes, it has a huge monster in the middle, there are lanterns that you can capture on the map that will give you vision, you and your team, which is a cool alternative to wards. And it keeps the game simple, and still, it's a really cool concept in my opinion. But of course, Tome also has stuff going on outside of the actual game. So first of all, as I said, you can unlock all these immortals here. Every immortal costs 7,000 devotion, that's the currency here, or 900 real life currency. You get about 100 devotion per game. So if you would play 4 games in an hour and every game would last 50 minutes, you could get 400 devotion in an hour. It's actually, in my opinion, a little faster than in games like League of Legends, but it's still fairly slow. However, there are multiple other ways to earn this devotion. You can, for example, level up the immortals you play. I can show that as an example of someone I've already leveled up. 1 second. Osric here. He's already level 4, as you can see. And every time your hero levels up, you get a bonus. And this is displayed here. At level 2, I got 200 extra devotion. At level 3, I got a special dance, which is really groovy, by the way. At level 4, I got the Relic Divine Oath, which is something that alters your abilities. At level 4, 5, 6, for every single immortal that you get to that level, you earn alterations for their abilities, and you can always only equip one of these. So you have to choose. There's also a core relic, but I'm going to get to that a little later. At level 7, you unlock an Ascended skin. I'm actually really looking forward to how that's going to look. But of course, it's going to take a while. It took me quite some games to get him to level 4, and that was only this little bit here. So it takes almost twice that amount to get to level 5. But yeah, these relics, you can equip one of them, and you can always equip 2 blessings, which are global for everyone. And you unlock these blessings by actually playing with the immortals and leveling up their faction. There are 6 factions in this game. I'm pretty sure at least there are 6. And every immortal belongs to one of these factions. Whenever you play a game with an immortal, you level up their faction. And they level up a lot slower. Or domains, yeah, they're called domains, as you can see. And you unlock these blessings. For example, when equipped, your Guardian's Might is increased by 3% per nearby enemy unit. That's something you can take with everyone, not only Wala champions or immortals. Which is pretty cool in my opinion. That's like global stuff that makes stuff a little easier. For example, here I already have unlocked 1 Grand Wealth, and I gained 3 more gold per minion kill, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. But of course, the main meat of the game is the actual game. So what it's like, I'm going to show you that while actually playing a game. So let's play 3 versus 3. Personally, I find the game really, really interesting. I already found it to be pretty engaging. I already purchased a few, well, one Guardian with real life money, real world money. We'll just try this, and I really like him, and I'm going to use him as an example to show you what this game is about. So every single one of these immortals belongs to one category.
A rune has lifted me from the depths.
I hope that's not too loud right now. I think I should actually lower the volume of this a little bit. 1 second. Well, I can't right now. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I think it's not going to be loud. Sadly, this game doesn't have a volume meter. You can only turn it completely on or turn it completely off. I think that's something that they should change. But anyway, as you can see here in the upper right, every single one of these immortals has you could say it's like a class. There are slayers, there are tacticians, there are pushers, and there are tanks. Slayers is pretty self-explanatory, I think. They deal a lot of damage, but they're not really that durable. Tanks soak up the damage, but they don't really deal that much damage themselves. What's interesting is the pusher and tactician class. Tacticians are pretty good at like controlling the battlefield. They have things like roots and silences, and the damage is pretty medium, but they're good at controlling. And the the pushers are really good at pushing minion waves, and that's mainly what this game is about, as you're going to see. They're pretty good at destroying minions, at keeping their own minions alive. And yeah, it's a pretty interesting concept to put these immortals in one of these categories. And even though other games have that too, it's since the game is a lot smaller and a lot more compressed and games last a lot less, it's very apparent who does what, as I'm going to show you. For example, Tridus is classified as a pusher, so he should be pretty good at pushing minion waves. And he is, but he can also deal pretty good damage. So yeah, we have the good old Malbus Pussy Destroyer in the enemy team. Of course, this community is also very mature, as in every MOBA. Anyway, so the game is starting.
Greetings, Harbinger, and welcome to the Coliseum.
And I'm going to pause this for a second, and we'll lower the volume for a second. So, alright, should be a lot better now. So yeah, as you can see, it's a classic MOBA. There are minions. You follow the minions. You're going to kill enemies. But since it's a 3 versus 3, there's always 2 on one lane and 1 on the other lane. Usually the tank goes on the other lane. So yeah, there's a lot to say about this when you're actually in the game. As you can see, you don't have any mana, but you can pretty much use your abilities whenever you want, when there's still no cooldown on it. So that's a pretty interesting concept in my opinion.
The enemy has besieged
And
the bottom tower.
it actually works. It actually works, which I'm pretty surprised that it actually works. So I could tell you about this champion now in particular, but I'm not going to. That's for you to discover. However, what's pretty interesting is the item system in this game. As in every MOBA, you can purchase items, but there's a few critical things here that are different than in other MOBAs. And the first thing would be that every item costs only 500 gold, and you can have 4 of them at the same time. Now the thing about these items is that they're divided in 3 categories. They're a health item, as you're going to see when I can purchase one when I have 500 health. There's a health item, there's a might item. Might pretty much increases the power of your basic attacks, increases the damage that your skills do.
My trident is ready.
And then there's an attack speed item. And you can also auto buy if you're not sure what you're going to buy. And each one of these items you can then build in one of 5 items each that all do different things. So in total, every match you're going to spend 4,000 gold to fill all of these item slots. I'm going to just auto buy now. I'm auto buying the might item, as you can see. This is the only might item here. You can always buy one of these 3 items and then build them in one of these items. which in my opinion is a pretty interesting concept. And as you probably have already seen just now,
Get moving.
there you don't need to go back to buy an item. There is a recall, but you don't need to go back. You can auto-purchase them in lane, which is takes some time getting used to. The other thing is last hitting minions is pretty useless because it doesn't give you any more gold. You get gold anyway. So last hitting minions doesn't do squat. You always get gold if you're nearby them, and I get free extra gold because of my blessing. Yeah, but of course there's other things. So aside from the fact that I'm going to get auto gold when I'm near my minions, and aside the fact that I don't use any mana, you also regenerate health when you're out of combat, 4% of your total health per second. I should probably help my team up here. Well, that almost did something. So yeah, you regenerate health when you're out of combat, and your stats are being displayed here. And yeah, that's really the essence of this game. So what I really like about the game is that everything is more or less really compressed. You don't have you don't have to worry about big or complex item strategies because there's only a handful of items available. You don't have to worry about having to buy health potions or stuff like that because you automatically regenerate health when you're not in combat. Although the way the game handles being in combat or not is kind of weird. You're not in combat when you attack minions, but you're in combat when you get attacked. I mean, in my opinion, when I'm attacking minions, I'm also in combat, but yeah. I'm not sure why the game decided to do it like this. But that's the game's decision, so I'm not going to question that. But of course, it's not all completely great in this game. So one thing that I don't really like personally, let me try something. Let's see if this works. No, they're going to regenerate health. I wanted to ride them with my wave. And one thing that I don't like about this game is that at some point gold simply becomes useless. When you have all of your items, you're just going to amass gold over and over. There's no like elixirs to buy that will temporarily make you stronger, like in League of Legends, for example. So at some point you just feel like your gold is really being useless. If you like that or not, I suppose it's up to you. I think everyone has their own opinion about these kind of things. Another interesting thing, as you can see here, is the turrets overheat. When they attack minions in 2 quick successions, they overheat and then they take additional damage when you smash onto them. It's an interesting thing, that's for sure. And it removes this stupid, like, you can just try to push forever and you will never bring down the actual turret. Because eventually the turrets will overheat and then you can smash onto them anyway, even if there are no minions nearby. As you can see, the game is just really focused and centered around making games quick. First blood. Alright. Yeah, it's just really centered around making games quick, making them end as soon as possible. And if you really don't have a lot of time to have a 45-minute Dota match or League of Legends match or Smite match or whatever, it's a really good alternative. Plus, it's still fairly new. I think there are like 20 Guardians right now, of 20 Immortals. I use a different word every single time. Yeah, I think there are like 20 right now. So there's a lot of room for expansion here. But the way you can customize them, at least outside of the game, is already pretty cool with the relics and the blessings. So that's certainly something that I personally like. I could see how it could get repetitive, because there's not really a lot of strategy in this game. And the game is focused around small skirmishes, but you will almost never see an actual team fight in this game. That's something that I also don't really like. Because mostly a team will just sit under their tower to defend against a pushing team. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's going to happen. But it's still interesting that a game, even if it's not that complex, it's still really engaging in my opinion. It's fast. It's
Acknowledge.
centered around fights, it's centered around pushing, and it doesn't have this build up. I think that's really the game's greatest strength, and probably for some also the game's greatest weakness. That it doesn't have to build up. Like you don't start out weak and then get gradually stronger. Wait a second. All right. You don't start out weak and then get gradually stronger with items of the sort.
Your minions are now stronger.
That doesn't happen.
The
You
enemy has
pretty much
lost
already start out strong, and then you can increase that a little bit with
An
items.
enemy has fallen.
Not really a lot. 1 second, we gotta kill this guy here. Alright,
An ally has fallen.
and apparently this one guy was AFK.
You've been avenged.
But yeah. Another thing that you probably have already realized is that you can't level up your skills automatically, they do that for you. Or there's pretty much no leveling at all, they just get
Trident is ready.
dynamically stronger every single level. It's simple. They try to keep it simple, and that's the game's core value, the game's core strength. If you like that, and I think that's ultimately going to break, or going to make or break the fact if you are actually going to find enjoyment in this game,
I'm on watch.
or if you will,
The Harbinger has disconnected.
yeah, get disconnected, or if you will not. Ultimately. Something that I've really realized in this game too is that there's a lot of levers and AFKers. I mean, every MOBA has that, but it surprises me here that it's really almost every single game. It's surprising because the game is pretty, like, condensed. Matches last a maximum of 15 minutes, so...
An ally has fallen.
Games don't last that long, so I wonder, I actually wonder why that is. I mean, people, even if they're losing, people could sit down to a 15-minute match. It's not that hard, I think. Alright, I think we should end this.
With Trident raised.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. I tried. Just getting pummeled by the turret, my god.
Acknowledge.
Now you should probably, yeah, okay.
An ally has been
You
sacrificed.
should probably go back, but whatever. Alright. Let's kill this guy. Try to at least. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My health.
An enemy has fallen.
Let's auto-buy. I usually use auto-buy. But even though there aren't really a lot of items here, there is some sort of customization. Like you could, for example, buy 4 health items if you really want that. And then you'd be extremely beefy, but you don't really deal any damage. Or you could attack really quickly, but you don't really do any damage. That sort of thing. There's still some sort of customization here, it's just a lot less than another game of this type. And whether that's good or not, again, that's something that everyone has to decide for themselves.
An ally has fallen.
It's unfair, they're a lot better than us, they have Pussy Destroy. Alright. Oh no, be careful. But yeah, there's not really a lot else to say about this game. It's fun, it's quick. That's really it.
You've been avenged.
And whether you like it or not
Venerate.
is completely up to you. But
Double kill.
fuck! I didn't even see this minion was attacking me. God
Denied.
damn it. But yes, it's certainly stripped down. It's simple. It's
A guardian has been sacrificed.
very, very simple and simplistic. But again, I don't think that's necessarily a con. Because games are fast. If you have 50 minutes of time, you can just jump in one of these games. You can have a lot of fun.
I'm on.
And I think it's really important that in games like this, you should really support them. This is a game that's still at the beginning of his life cycle. That means there's still a lot going to happen in this game.
An ally has
So,
been sacrificed.
yeah. I think it's important to support games like these from the very beginning if you really enjoy them. And I'm going to certainly do that, because I think this is a rare MOBA gem. Even though it obviously still has room for improvement. It's still fun.
With the advent.
It's fun, it's easily accessible, and especially people couldn't really get into MOBAs before because they found them way too complex or way too like difficult or long, or they required way too much effort to learn. I think they could really find a lot of enjoyment in this. And I know I certainly do. So let's try to finish this quickly, because I don't really have anything else to talk about. Oh my god, he grabbed me. Another thing to say, another thing that's really important. Oh my god. I just wanted to attack. Yes, okay. What did I just want to say? I already forgot. Oh yeah, another thing that I personally think is also nice in this game, the different immortals are unique enough to not see them as carbon copies of immortals in other games. As you see, I just earned 200 devotion because I leveled this god up for the first time. So yeah, that's Tome. It's easy, it still has some depth to actually learn it. It has some degree of customization outside the game, more than other MOBAs, but it has less customization inside the game. So they kind of shifted it around here. Again, whether you like that or not, if you're one of these people who say that MOBAs are usually way too time consuming, way too hard to learn, and way too inaccessible for you, then you should certainly check out Tome because, again, it's easy to pick up. I think it's more or less hard to master. It's quick, and again, it's really accessible. I personally really like it, and I'm usually I'm a huge League of Legends and Dota 2 fan. So that says a lot. It's really fun, so I recommend you give that a try. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry if the video was stuttering a little bit, but my video recording software sucks. And so does my microphone, so sorry if I was too loud or too quiet at some point. I'm really sorry. Anyway, try out Tome. I think after taking a look at it, it's really good. Have a great day, everyone, and take care.